Okay, welcome to a video that I wanted to do for a while. Obviously, I have still pretty much stayed in the lane of Hyrox and weekly training vlogs and taking Hyrox workouts off of Instagram and from like the Elite 15 and from good solid programming pages that put some information out there and just kind of letting that write my programming for me. I did also say I was going to do some videos that were still touching on like the subject of like sobriety and kind of where I came from and kind of how I mentally am still challenging myself to stay in this state of sobriety and never really kind of have to never look back and never want to go back to their direction. So anyway, I wanted to do a John Wynn workout for a long time. This guy is still in the Elite 15. John is someone that is a family man. I think he's a father of two. He is a man of recovery from addiction. I think when it comes to where he was and where I was, as far as like kind of like I would say the rock bottom that we both hit, I think we share a lot of similarities in that. I think we both come from a very athletic background, and when that athletic background kind of started to fade away, we were both probably very introduced to alcohol. Me kind of coming more from like a skateboarding, snowboarding, golf background, and then eventually I just kind of lost interest in those hobbies. I found bartending. Bartending was fun for me for a while, and then bartending just kind of became a toxic addiction of a never-ending spiral circle that I just could not seem to get myself out of. I know John spent some time over in Afghanistan, and once he got out of his 6-year service, it sounds like he had been diagnosed with some PTSD, and in result of that also kind of fell into the world of addiction. And I might not be spot on with my numbers, but I think John is around like the 4-year mark of sobriety, and I'm coming up on that here in a couple of years. And I really kind of lean into people like John because I don't really have the expectations of ever really becoming like elite in the world of Hyrox, but it's people like John that remind me that like I can still make massive leaps in this sport at the age of 37, having a daughter a lot, having a full-time job, and just micromanaging my time well. And another topic I want to talk about on like what fitness did for me to get out of addiction and kind of what fitness does to me now that might also be kind of labeled as addiction. So like I said, I am 4 years sober now. It was just basically my gym, my Angry Unicorn Method gym, my CrossFit gym. I walked in there one day and just kind of like I lived right across the street downtown. My bar was right there in the corner. The gym was just like kind of catty corner. And the guy that ran the gym was a really good friend of mine back in the day. And we kind of regrown that friendship. And now I practically work underneath the guy. He's kind of taught me everything that I've known in the world of like personal training and like CrossFit and just I don't know, just working hard. The dude works really, really hard in the gym, physically and he's just put a lot of work into this industry, and he definitely has put in his time, and I'm very grateful for him. But anyway, my output, my outcome of how I performed was irrelevant when I was making that transition from being like a pretty big alcoholic and trying to use fitness as this tool, this gateway to get me out of this this area that I just didn't want to be in anymore. And now I've kind of flip-flopped. Now I'm in this area of fitness, and all I care about is the outcome. So kind of finishing the year, kind of having some reflection, especially watching people like John Wynn, who John is someone that is on the back end of the Elite 15. When it comes to the Elite 15, it's a place you want to be in. You never want to be on the outside looking in. And in order to get in, you've got to win these majors. You just have to run you have to finish in a certain place at these majors to secure your spot. And then once you kind of secure your spot for world championships, you're kind of free sailing. You can kind of race when you want. You can go make some money when you want, because these Elite 15, these majors, they do pay out. And sometimes the money is pretty substantial to where like it can definitely make you, maybe put you in a position to be able to train a little bit more. Maybe you don't have to work your job as much. Sponsorship opportunities open up for probably these guys that are in like the top 5 or top 3 or world championships, compared to guys that are on the back end trying to race their way in. And then once they get in, they got to stay in. And it's a lot of travel. It's a lot of expense on these guys to go there with the intentions of like, I got to get my spot. I've got to get my spot, compared to like, well, I already have my spot. I'm going to go race and just maybe I can make another $5,000, another $7,500. Or, you know, maybe I'm just not going to go. So I kind of compare it to like the PGA Tour, the Professional Golf Association, where it's like, you can play so well to where you're financially stable, you're kind of financially like carefree, and your card is secure. No one's going to take your card from you, compared to like being like in the bottom 125. Like every weekend matters for points and for income, and if you're constantly not earning money and you're constantly wasting money on travel, you're stressing about, am I going to be able to be on this tour next year? So pretty similar areas of like pretty similar fields of, you don't want to be on the outside looking in. And I think John is really open about sharing his training and things that he has to adapt and change. And he's constantly living with a time in the back of his head because he knows he has to perform. And I'm sure John would relate with me and agree with me. We're like, at the end of the day, we're just not where we were 4 years ago, 5 years ago. And at the end of the day, I need to always remember that that's my win, is that this training, Hyrox, racing, road races, that it's just a bonus for my life. And it's just a reminder of like, hey man, you can perform really well. You can do this really well. And you look back 2 years ago, 4 years ago, I mean, I couldn't do any of this shit that I'm doing now. And all I got to do is remember is that I'm not where I was 4 years ago. And I'm kind of starting to lose sight on that. And I'm starting to obsess with these races to where I get to these races and I run these races and I'm almost like forgetting to enjoy the experience. And I think that's where my YouTube channel is slowly starting to enhance that a little bit more, is that I'm remembering to like stop and like enjoy the travel, enjoy the people that I'm there with, and enjoy the food that I'm having, and like enjoy just like being in the airport. Because like prior to Hyrox stuff, like I didn't do a ton of traveling. But I got to remember, like when I go to these races, like not to just go sit in the arena for the entire day, and like go enjoy the city and enjoy time with my daughter. And yeah, and that's going to be the one thing I need to tell myself, is that like, if I don't have the ability to go to these races and enjoy the time when I'm there, like Dallas, perfect example of what I should not have done. Dallas was stupid. I physically was tired. I financially could not really make it work with my other job. With my other jobs, I have multiple jobs, but anyway, it was a rush, and I was just like, I wasn't even in Dallas. I flew in, ran to the race, ran a terrible race, got into a cab, and flew home. So I love people like John. I love his work ethic. I love what he does. I love the family man that he is. And John, if you watch this, I just hope that you do take the time to remember to just enjoy your life, enjoy your family, enjoy your kids, and just remember that you're just not where you were in that place of low. And I really appreciate you sharing it with everybody that you do share it with, and you're very open for it. And the one thing that I tell everybody when they come to me about wanting to quit drinking is just be honest with yourself. Be honest with the people that you trust. Be honest with the people that you love. And I think at the end of the day, John doesn't necessarily post on social media probably for attention. I think it's a way of him like not holding things in and being open with yourself, being honest with yourself. And it's just so much easier to move forward and get your day done, get your training in, if you don't feel like you're holding anything in. Because it took me probably 2 years to open up to people and be like, yeah, man, I think I got a problem. Like I need to quit this. I need to quit this, because I was a bartender. And at the end of the day, no one labels a bartender as an alcoholic usually, because like they're the life of the party. You go to see that person. It's the person sitting at the bar is the alcoholic. I'm like, well, at the end of the day, I was just as bad. But I was able to hide all that in and go to work and perform and like have fun with people. But then once it was 2 a.m. and the bar was closed and I was there mopping the floors, like every negative mind thought, every single negative mindset I could possibly have about being alone, being depressed, and like people are going home and having more fun. And I'm here just like, I'm just constantly being, every day I have to be whatever this customer wants me to be. And like, you eventually just lose sight of your own self. And that eventually I just popped and I exploded. And I found the gym and I was just terrible at everything. I mean, I couldn't do a pull up. I couldn't do a push up. I couldn't do a burpee. I couldn't do a wall ball. And I looked 4 years down the road. I'm like, dude, now you're trying to label yourself as like an elite racer. It's like elite athlete. It's like at 37 years old. And I just got to remember that like my 37-year-old would absolutely fucking destroy my 27-year-old self. At the end of the day, that's my trophy. That's my trophy. That's my finish line, and yeah, and we're just going to keep getting better. So anyway, I'm going to stop rambling now. But I did say some of these videos are going to be a little more raw and kind of touch base on the field of sobriety, because it helps me at the end of the day. At the end of the day, I'm able to chit chat about some things, get them off my chest, and also reflect, and not let this world of fitness turn into another source of addiction and not fulfill me with happiness. Because at the end of the day, if I'm not happy doing this, like, what the fuck am I doing it for? But anyway, John's got a good workout. He posted it. I went to his page. He usually posts his workouts daily, but there's a pretty big time gap between offices because he lives in Australia. He had a workout that I had some questions about, and I messaged him, but I think they're sleeping where he's at right now. It is still Christmas Eve, so this is my second video of the day. If you watched our 12 Days of Christmas video, I really appreciate it. That was really fun. Tough workout, but that's why, I mean, it didn't really do much to me just because I'm not good at any of those CrossFit movements. So it's about 7 hours later. So I'm at another gym. I'm up here at Richmond Elite Performance. I'm going to do a Hyrox workout that he posted on his stories, I think months, maybe a year ago. And yeah, we'll go over that workout here in a second. Okay, workout is going to consist of the following. We've got 10 to 12 rounds. We've got 90-second run at race pace into a 90-second ski at race pace, followed by a 60-second rest. So we're looking at 180 seconds of work, followed by 60 seconds of rest. We're looking at a 3-to-1 work-rest ratio. I love the fact that it is going to be a day where it is a little bit lower impact on my body. Like I said, I had a really big sled week last week. Really got me good. I did a lot of incline stuff, a lot of lunges, a lot of wall balls. I think I did like almost 1,000 wall balls last week. So yeah, very excited to just kind of work the heart rate as when you do kind of implement more strength into your running. Sometimes it is hard to even get up to max speed and get your heart rate up to where you need it to be because you're just so fatigued. So this is going to be about feeling good on both machines with some speedy recovery and really make that first 8 minutes of the Hyrox race pace just feel nice and smooth. And if I can make the first run and the first station, the 1K ski and the next 1K run, if I can make that just feel like a breeze, that's really going to allow me to make up the time where the stations that you can make up the most time in, the sled push and the sled pull, allow me to not kind of take any sort of discomfort from the ski and from the runs around the ski. And yeah, so I'm all set up, ready to roll. Take you through this. Let's go. Okay, 12 rounds done. That was perfect. That was like how you would write a track workout, for example. Like if someone isn't running the prescribed pace, it's going to make the prescribed recovery um, not enough. And in that situation, you want to tell that person, hey, we're trying to run a specific pace. We're not trying to run all out, because that's like what the back end of a track workout would be like. All right, we're going to finish with like 4x200 just to get that real fast turnover. Like, and that would be max recovery. Take 2 minutes off, take 3 minutes off. Like, we really want to see you run as hard as you can. This was more about race pace. This was about getting steady, settling into a zone of not discomfort. It's too early for that shit. And just being able to move and let that 60 seconds just be like almost just like a cakewalk for recovery. And now I'm using other gyms' machines. I use my machines. I use this gym machines. I run outside. I use the air runner. If you've never ran on the air runner, like one overstride on an air runner can take my pace from like 6:45 down to like 6:15. And so like my Hyrox Chicago race pace was 6 minutes and 45 seconds, a mile pace. And I was on the treadmill and I knew this was going to be a workout full of reflection. I'm like, you know what? I'm doing one of John's workouts. It's my second workout today. It's like 3 days in a row of I've done some sort of double workout, whether it was a run, lift. I did a run, lift, run. I did a 2-hour bike run. And then today I did our 12 days of Christmas workout this morning. And now I'm doing a pretty good threshold workout for me. So I'm super stoked, super stoked of the last 3 days of training. And I just remember like reflecting back on like when I was on the back end of quitting drinking, I could not break like 20:30 in the 5K. I'm like, I'll never run sub 20 minutes in the 5K. It's just like, it's astronomically fast. I just can't do it. And like, now it's like, I'm running in a Hyrox at that pace. And so I've really got to remember like where I came from. And like, when you watch these Elite 15 guys, you got to remember like some of these guys were D1 athletes. Some of these guys they were like professional rugby players. Like they all have some sort of like pretty high end elite background. And that's why I really enjoy John's page. Like, I mean, if you see John Wynn, like he's just a freak athlete. The guy's in phenomenal shape. And I go, but I can look at him like, you know what? This sport isn't out of reach for me on like an elite level. And I really think with the next couple of years, because I mean, there's even people like, there's a couple like Hyrox elite guys that are like 44 years old. And if you look into like the mid 40 age groups, there's still guys running like low 105s, low 103s. Like this is something that I think I can maintain for a long time. And it also allows me to go and run half marathons and 5Ks and 10Ks and like do triathlons. And like, I'm really excited for like the end of Hyrox season to get back into the pool, get back into cycling and like take a deload from like the taxing that Hyrox can do to you. Like you can't train this way all year round. So I'm excited to get at least a couple more races under my belt, do Vegas and hopefully I have a Houston ticket. I haven't paid for my flight yet. The good thing is that like Hyrox tickets are pretty easy to sell. So if Vegas goes really well for me, maybe I won't do Houston. Maybe I just save some money and kind of just focus more on like the triathlon. But like, I just want to do what makes me happy. And right now, Hyrox is that thing. This was a workout where I just felt good the whole time. And I just kept reflecting. It wasn't taxing on my body. It was just taxing on my lungs to the point to where I was hitting that specific pace. So anyway, I'm rambling. I haven't done a long rambling video in a while, so I've been keeping most of my videos to like 5 to 8 minutes. This one obviously is gonna be a little longer. So again, I hope to maybe touch the sobriety topic once every couple of weeks, maybe once a month, because it did a lot for me tonight. So whether you watch this whole video or not, I'm going to enjoy editing it. I'm going to enjoy the post feeling of doing a good workout to completion. As most of the workouts that I write for myself, I'm writing it to the volume that I know I'm going to get it done. But this was a stimulus to where like round 8, I would have thrown in the towel probably had I wrote it myself or had I not been filming it and I hadn't documented it. Even though I haven't posted this yet, like in my mind, it is posted. I filmed the intro, I filmed the opening, I say what the workout is. I could easily just not do this workout, or if I bonked this workout, I could delete all the information that even showed that I started it. And I just don't want to do that. I want to do the workouts that raise my needle,
that take me from that 111 in Chicago and put me in a 107 in Vegas. And in order to do that, I have to do things that sting. And this stung enough to where I'm going to be able to continue to work out tomorrow and the next day. And yeah, so yeah, Merry Christmas, everyone. I don't even know if my mic's still on. Yeah, it's Christmas Eve. I need to take a shower. I need to get some food. I got a nice long day with my amazing daughter, Reagan. And yeah, we're going to have a great Christmas. And I hope you do the same. See you in the next one.